Hey, it's Captain Matt, Boater's Secret Weapon, and today we're talking about used pontoons and the 5 things to look out for, kind of the big areas when you're looking at a used pontoon. So let's jump in. The number 1 is look for that mold and mildew. Now, these are extreme examples, but look for those areas because the thing about mold and mildew is once it's started, it's there. It's impossible to get rid of it in the boating environment because of the moisture, because you cover your boat up. Hopefully, it's going to continue to grow. So make sure that you're going to be happy with the level in the upholstery. You can see those red stains. That's mold and mildew starting. You can see it here on this Harris. It's a little bit better, but you're not going to be able to get it perfect, and it's likely to come back if just any amount of time under that cover and any amount of moisture. Check the carpet as well. So just be very aware that that mold and mildew is there. Check into cracks and crevices, open all of the seating, and look really in these cracks right here in the upholstery is where that mold really starts to begin. So check in all those areas. Next are the welds. So you want to make sure that all the welds are good. That includes the welds on the splash well, on the nose cone, the welds on the tunes to make sure that you're not getting water in there, and especially the welds on the motor pod in the back. That's where a lot of the torque is, but don't just look at the places you can easily see. You may need to actually crawl under, and some of them, hey, there's going to be aluminum skin under there. You really need to get as detailed of a look as you can. But this back area by the motor pod is a common area, and the bracings right here, usually running down the pontoon, are another area. And again, those splash welds can often get broken off if they run into the dock. And then I encourage you to check the welds on the tunes. Is put that baby in the water, and then when you pull it out, shake it back and forth and slosh it. I've got a bunch of videos on how to actually inspect these things on pontoons on the channel, so you can check that out. This is just sort of a quick, hey, these are the quick things to look for. The wiring. The problem with pontoons is your wiring is exposed. A critter can get in there and chew it up. If they load it up or something happens, it gets damaged, it can get pinched. And wiring issues, if they're not as obvious as this one, can be very difficult to diagnose. If your helm looks kind of like a rat's nest, this wiring on the battery up in the top left is actually pretty good. But if you start getting a bunch of extra things wired up and it's looking crazy, it can be really hard to find those issues. That's why in all of my videos I say, flip on every single component of that boat to make sure that there's not a short where maybe it runs for a little bit when you're sitting still, but for whatever reason it shorts out as you're hitting bumps because some wires are loose or have been chafed and now there's a short in it. So check all of those things because wiring on a boat can be very difficult to diagnose and fix. Now you're buying the pontoon, but if it's on a trailer, don't forget that trailer. Look for rust, look for corrosion. I've got a video on pontoon trailers specifically on what to look for, as well as the bunk boards. Make sure that those bunk boards, Sun Tracker owners are always talking about my pontoon bunks rotted out after just a couple of years, and it can happen. Wood and water is going to lead to rot. Metal and water is going to lead to rust. If you had salt water in the mix, it's even worse. But check those things because the trailers a lot of times goes kind of just, it's secondary. I'm more concerned about the boat, and that trailer can be very, very important. The axles, the leaf springs, all of that is important to inspect. And then the number 1 thing is the motor. There can be countless things wrong with the motor. It's why I encourage everybody before you buy a boat to run that thing. Follow in my toolkit, the Boat Buyer's Toolkit. You can actually, there's a checklist on how to demo a boat the right way, and it's a 15-20 minute process. You're not just going out for a quick spin and coming back. You're going out, and for 15-20 minutes, you're doing some very specific things to that motor and that boat to make sure you don't have issues. You're checking the temperature, you're checking the fluids, you're putting it through its paces, you're checking the RPM ranges to make sure you understand that this boat is not going to be full of problems. It doesn't matter if it's a Honda, Yamaha, Mercury, Suzuki, doesn't matter the brand of the motor. You want to make sure that it was taken care of and that it's going to be very, very serviceable for you and not cause multiple issues. So those are the 5 common areas. If you're interested in buying a boat, get the Boat Buyers Toolkit. It's totally free, boatbuyerstoolkit.com. There's a ton of other videos. We've got over 400 videos on the channel. If you're a first-time boater, maybe starting with the advice for first-time boat buyers, part 1 and part 2 could be a great start. If you know you're on a pontoon, there's a whole pontoon playlist just packed full of videos. Check those out. Give this a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you got questions. And remember, life truly is better on a boat.